The Milky Way. You know the name. It's our home galaxy. But how is it formed? Well, let's go back 13.7 billion years ago to the Big Bang. Now, there isn't much information about the Big Bang, but what we do know is that the Big Bang provided the raw materials for everything around us today. For 380,000 years, the universe remained in a state referred to as plasma, until eventually the universe grew cold enough to allow protons and electrons to fuse together to form atoms. Then, thanks to gravity and small differences in the density of matter, it resulted in objects known as hot spots to form, in what we call threshold 2. And once those hotspots heated up to around 10 million degrees Celsius, protons were able to fuse together, and due to the mass heat being released, it stopped the clouds from collapsing any further. That was the process that allowed the stars to light up. And following that, more and more of them emerged. They then grouped together to form galaxies such as our very own Milky Way. Now that we had a galaxy filled with stars, there was still something missing, which was our solar system. Now, to get the planets from our solar system, we needed other elements besides hydrogen and helium. And to get those other elements, you needed extreme temperatures like the ones found within stars. But not just any normal stars, the dying ones. For instance, when a large star dies, it can explode into what is known as a supernova, which releases a large amount of heat that happens to be enough to allow the atoms to fuse, making new elements and launching them all across space. Now, thanks to the newly fused atoms, objects much more complex than stars could now form objects like planets. This happened as molecules would start to get merged together in a process called accretion until it had formed an entire planet. Though some planets were formed mainly with lighter elements like Jupiter and Saturn being made solely of hydrogen and helium, there were some that were formed with heavier ones, such as our very own home planet, Earth. Now that Earth was formed, at first it wasn't able to support life, as there was too much heat, no oxygen, and it was highly radioactive. But as time passed and it cooled down and became more habitable, so life rose, starting with microorganisms, until finally, approximately 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens appeared. Early human civilizations used the stars in a method now commonly known as astrology. The usage of it dates all the way back to 3000 BC. We know this as archaeologists discovered rock paintings and rock carvings and bone marked with lunar phases for this time period. Early humans typically used astrology as a GPS, as they could look for certain stars and planets in the night sky, and that would tell them where they were, or like give them a sort of compass. More recent astronomers who learned of the Milky Way believed it to be the only galaxy in the universe until the year 1924, when Edwin Hubble measured the distance to the stars in other galaxies using a large telescope. He showed some star distances exceeded the measurement for the size of our Milky Way. This discovery proved the existence of other galaxies other than the Milky Way.